What's Edu's status? He wasn't out there?
Just personal reasons. So he's got the day away from the facility for some personal reasons that I won't share just yet. I'm keeping in close contact with him throughout the evening, and we'll probably make a decision later on this evening or early tomorrow on his status for the weekend.
Okay. Obviously, it's got to leave a big hole in your plans. It gives you some extra juggling to do.
Yeah, it does. Thankfully, I've been happy with the rest of the positions of the Sixers this week specifically. I think both, Chris, Alfie, Thomas, and Seth have all trained well. We were able to get them both in today. All four of them rotated into what I would consider the starting 11 for opportunities to get some reps in what we're looking for tactically. So I feel like all four could be prepared. But no doubt if we don't have Edu, he'll be a missing piece for us. He's a massive impact on this team. So, yeah.
How's it been Tottenham's situation? Because who had played every game and now he hasn't played, or played off the bench every now and then. What more, and do you want to see him in these last two games to figure out plans going forward with him?
We do. That's something we've talked about this week as a staff. Thomas will have a big feature this weekend. That's what I'll say on that. Something that, as he went through his injury and came back in and got put into a position where the entire system and philosophy changed in them wide areas, probably was one of the players that just took a little bit of time to adjust to. But as of late, he's been training very well. I think I spoke to him in the hotel. I want to say it was San Jose, and I had a sit down with him and just talked about his training's been going in the right direction lately. He's been working very hard. His opportunity will come. Going across the Montreal-San Jose game, we just found ourselves in a lead, and where we're wanting to rotate the back line in these situations when we had the lead and we had to then defend moments. So that's out of his control, unfortunately. But what's in his control is how he trains, how he prepares. He's been doing that very well for a few weeks now, so you'll see him feature in the next two games.
Matt? Takes away one of my questions, but at least in the concept of these last two games, some of your comments on Tuesday relating to how you balance the desire to win with the desire to kind of feature players who are going to be here next season, see what you have in some of the option players, your fullback spots. Devin Padelford's obviously here, but he's on loan. Conrad Vollum is on loan. Does that play into it where you might know that you're not going to have a player back next season, so you won't be featuring them as much? And talk through both of those positions where you don't have very many other options at left back, but like you do have another option at right back, Totland versus Vollum.
I think the first one on that is the balance. I felt like I've tried to do a good job with both competing in games from the performance standpoint, but finishing, or not even finishing games, but giving opportunities to players throughout the season. I think Tyson Pierce came on and made his debut. McSorley, Mackay, Hazy, these guys have scored goals and came up. So I do try to find the balance between being competitive but giving opportunity to everybody. I would say right now, when you look at players and the options and where they're at, I can only control, like Thomas Dalton, I can only control what I can control, and that is, without extended information or knowledge just yet on what that might look like, is just giving opportunities to guys that deserve it and guys that I think can compete to win the game. But I'm not blind to the situation of knowing guys who are on options who we do need to see, whether that's in the City 2 environment, which we've done with a few guys, or in the first team environment. So you try to find a balancing act. I'm sure there's never a perfect formula out there for it, but it's always just trying to find a good balance between doing both.
Have you had any conversations with the front office, and have they weighed in on maybe some of the players that they'd like to see a little bit more to help make those decisions? Yeah,
we have constant conversations with the front office. A lot of meetings throughout the week right now, just trying to get ahead as much as we can on these situations. Obviously, it's all private information right now, so I won't be sharing anything. But there is conversations going on the players, depth chart meetings, so on and so forth. So we're trying to be as prepared as much as a club for not just the end of the season here, but rolling into the off season and next year.
And on a personal level for you, have you had conversations with the front office on things that they need to see in the last few games that may impact your status as head coach?
Yes, I have, and they've been very open and transparent. Again, it's one of those where showing that we can have competitive performances. For me as a coach, showing that I can find ways to pick up some points as well. Felt like we had a good run of form, take away the LAFC game of recent games with that. So constant conversations right now. I believe the priority is still to find a sporting director though. Find that personnel first, and then they'll on-go conversations on players and staff.
Have you been given any indication that even if you don't get the head coaching position, that you'd still be with this organization next year?
Yes, I have. So that's helped me just be in a position of feeling comfortable and confident. So I feel good in that situation, yeah.
Have you heard about the direct flights to Heathrow?
Out to St. Louis?
Yes.
Yes, this actually came across, someone sent me this a week or so ago. Comes out in April of next year.
Yeah. Is that going to change your life in terms of going home?
It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
It makes it a lot easier than doing 2 or 3 connecting flights. Yeah, I would say so.
That's all.
Drew. So, how's it going, Coach?
Hey.
So you mentioned Durkin and Alfie, potentially looking at them, evaluating them for next game. What exactly are you looking for out of your midfield?
Also, Seth and Thomas, I'll put them in there, that all 4 are competing for that opportunity. I think the first one is Austin's an interesting one. We've seen them defending a back 4 as of late. We've seen them defending a back 5 as of late. I think they're tactically flexible in how they set up, and I also know they've just played last night, which might rotate a lot of personnel. So the best thing for this week that I'm going to focus on, I think last week maybe we spent a lot of time focusing on the opponent and what LAFC were good at, where we can be vulnerable, where they could be vulnerable. This week I've brought it more back to who are we and what do we want to try and accomplish out of this game. So when you look at the Sixers specifically, I need a good balance. I need a good balance of guys that can get on the ball and break lines and help us advance into the front half of the field, but also guys that can cover space, cover ground, defend well. That's the biggest, I would say, relationship I'm looking for right now in the two center mids.
All right, and then I'm not sure if you've seen or not, MLS partnered with Syracuse University to offer like online degrees to MLS players, MLS Next Pro. You talked about in the City Voice podcast your kind of experience with college. How important is that to players?
I think it's massively important. I think a lot of these players, even if they have a very, very successful career and play into their mid-30s, it's always nice then to have something else that you aspire to get into, or might be a business, it could be in a variety of fields. We do know about that program. We've had an orientation with the players here in the theatre room back at the facility, so they're all aware of that, thankfully. But yeah, further education and just consistently trying to develop yourself is massive for the players. I hope a lot of them take an opportunity of it.
We'll go to Zoom with Jeremy.
Coach, I'm curious. We talk a lot about player development, player growth since you've taken over as head coach, but I'm curious on a personal level. Is there anywhere where you think you've really grown or lessons that you've learned that you're proud of in terms of personal growth for you in this role?
Yeah, thank you. It's a good question. I would say the first thing is, as a coach, how to consistently stay confident in what you do, even if results don't go your way. Throughout my career so far, this has been a situation where we haven't picked up as many points and as many wins as what I have done in previous years. So it's been a big test for me, just like I'm sure it is for the players, to show up every day and still be very confident in what you can provide as a leader, as a coach. That's probably been my biggest growing moment. But also I've felt very comfortable stepping into this position, dealing with media, dealing with all the extra, situations that come with a job being a first team head coach. And I've really enjoyed them moments as well. Wasn't knowing how to step into this role and deal with all of the extra stuff, but I've felt like I've been in a position where I've grown at it. I've enjoyed it. I enjoy getting to speak to you guys every week. So that's been nice. But yeah, I think going through tough times as a coach and trying to remain confident in what you do and being very trusting in your abilities. I think that's been my biggest growing moment as a coach.
We'll wrap up with Tom.
And is Falou good to go for this weekend?
Yeah, Fullers good to go. Had him out just for a precautionary beginning of the week, but he's been training with us of late. Got through the full session today, healthy. So I'm going to knock on wood here that the next the next training session he's okay, and he'll be good to go.
And is Kessler? He was with you at least at the start that we saw. Is he?
Yeah, no, I guess there's another one stayed through the full session today. Same situation. Hopefully we get by tomorrow. Everything's safe. Everything's okay, and Kessler's also available.
It's just how do you feel about the energy at practice, considering where you guys are in this season now?
I think it's something that it surprised me and hasn't. It hasn't surprised me because getting to know these guys and working with these guys every day for 3 months, I see how competitive they are and how they try to apply themselves every single day. But it has surprised me because we know we only got officially eliminated this weekend to LAFC, but I think we mentioned this on Saturday night. We knew for a while what the fate of the season was going to be for us. And I've always said if you came and just dropped yourself in, obviously competitive sports, football in general, and you watched us train, you wouldn't think we were on the team looking out in for several weeks. I think we train with really good intensity. There's good buy-in on the tactical implications of what we ask of these players. We just need to keep improving technically. We need to keep improving in every phase. That's something that I'm excited for the future of this group because they have a growth mindset. Intensity's been good, and I've been happy with where we're training. We've had some good results as of late. I think the last hiccup against LAFC hopefully is a one-off, but we continue to see against Austin and RSL now a consistent progression in how we play with the ball, against the ball, and all of those details.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Go ahead.
Hi, Devin.
How's it going?
What's it feel like as this team kind of plays out the string here of keeping the energy level high that you need for these games?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, it's always tough when you're eliminated for playoffs, but I think this is where you really see the true character of everybody and the willingness to want to finish the season strong because obviously, like Critch said, hopefully this LAFC game was a one-off for us and we can get back to the string of games that we were on, getting back-to-back wins and having complete performances.
And what's this been like for you since you're on loan? Things will be potentially going back to Minnesota when this is over. What's this like? What's this been like for you?
Yeah, no, I'm super grateful for the experience coming in and very fortunate, thanks to the coaching staff for having belief in me and the trust to play week in, week out. So yeah, I'm just super grateful and whatever comes, I guess. That's where I'll leave it at.
Would you like to stay?
Yeah, I'm totally open to anything, whatever. Obviously, that's for the future.
What do you think was missing against LAFC?
I think it's tough. I think we just maybe, we weren't really ourselves. We weren't pressing the ball. I think that was a big emphasis was when we recapped the game was the distances that we had from their players and how they were able to find the ball. And then obviously with the ball, I think we can all agree that we were making a lot of mistakes and there wasn't much cohesion. So just fixing those things, I think, and getting back to our original selves.
Matt.
Having so many minutes for St. Louis, playing so regularly, what have you learned that can help you as an individual player that you might not have had that opportunity with Minnesota?
Yeah, obviously last year I had a good experience of playing with Minnesota, so getting back into the rhythm of having the right habits of taking care of your body, all those sorts of things, gaining confidence and gaining good form as a player, so definitely take a lot of that with it.
You were brought in to play this system. Have you felt comfortable, and do you feel this system that St. Louis runs under David Critchley fits you as a player?
Yeah, I think it's been great. Obviously, I see myself more as a traditional left back than a wing back sometimes, but yeah, I think it's been great. I've really enjoyed it.
And when you struggle, like whether it's LAFC or otherwise, do you feel like it's more something that you can take ownership on, or is it I guess the full team something's not going right?
Yeah, you definitely have things as a player that you probably look back and you think I probably could have done this better. But obviously, I think just as a group, we were all kind of consensus that it just wasn't us. So that's probably it.
You're the long throw specialist. Do you practice that? Is that something that you've trained with others on? And is it part of the overall St. Louis set piece training?
Yeah, it's definitely a big piece. We don't really practice it much anymore because I think now it's just getting in the right areas and trying to score. But I did hear that we're second in XG behind Minnesota only, so hopefully we can end the year with getting one in the back of the net.
Tom.
I'm going to stick with the long throw. Who taught you?
I learned it I started doing it in probably when I was 15. I had a club coach that just asked me if I wanted to try it out, and it kind of stuck ever since then.
And are you left-handed?
I am. Yeah.
Okay, so does that put a particular spin on the ball? Do you spin it? Because I've noticed with you, you don't throw an arcing ball. You throw more like a bullet.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I just honestly just throw it.
Right?
At the end of the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's so difficult for teams to defend?
Because I mean, it's a tough set piece moment. The way the ball comes in, it can bounce any which way, and I feel like you're in a very uncomfortable situation defending from that area.
Drew.
So we've seen players come into the club and not exactly be the right fit. You, on the other hand, seem to fit the club pretty well. What do you credit that to?
Obviously, I think the system and the shape is great for me as a player, but I like to pride myself on my energy and attitude every day. I think those are the two main controllables as a player that you can have, and I think if you're always willing to bring that, I think it's just a lot of luck and other things that go into play with you for that.
And then we've seen not the most consistent defense with like injuries and sickness. How do you adapt to playing with different defensive teammates?
Yeah, it's definitely tough, but I feel throughout the week we do a good job being paired with different people and creating relationships with everybody, so I feel it's pretty easy.
Jeremy. Jeremy, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm getting off mute there. Question for you, Devin. Coming from a team like Minnesota who's been in the playoff picture all season long, to St. Louis on loan, Critch has talked a lot about the mental toughness of the players, staying motivated despite the situation. I'm curious if you could speak to that from your perspective and how that's impacted your growth this year while with St. Louis.
Yeah, no, I think we've done a great job with it. Like he said, I mean, every day at training, it's always tough and it's always hard. So, I mean, the training environment here at times I almost think is higher than it was at Minnesota. And I think I just attribute to the guys their character and their energy and attitude for the whole year since I've been here. It's been great.
We'll finish with Tom.
Is Alex Langer drawing up plays for you on long throw-ins?
Not really, no. I mean, like I said, it's just making sure you can get it in a fast area and then wherever the flick goes, trying to get off and find it on the second phase.
So it's not as strategic as a corner kick. Where
Yeah,
people
no, probably not.
All good, Devin.
Sweet, awesome. Thank you, guys.